How's it going, guys? My name is Voss, and if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you've been enjoying a lot of the content that I've been making and a lot of the different stuff that I've been trying lately. Gosh, man, it's not focusing at all. Okay, anyway, but I wanted to talk today. Last time I gave you 5 things I absolutely loved about my M3. Well, while it's been pretty awesome, there has been a few issues I've had with it. So I just want to drop in some of the things that I haven't liked in my ownership so far with the M3, and just a few things I guess I'm not a fan of. So let's jump into it. But first, as always, I need a car wash. Being in Ohio, it's not always easy to keep your cars clean. I personally like to hit, especially since I'm driving this in the winter and there's salt on the ground. Thankfully, it's been a very mild winter. I like to shoot the undercarriage off with water and just make sure that the car is clean. You know, this is a great looking car, and I'm going to get it paint corrected and clear broad pretty soon here. I'm just waiting for this is my only vehicle. I'm working on getting a second one right now. So as soon as I get that, I'll have kind of the ability to drop it off for a few days. But so let's get this car wash and let's jump into I can't speak today. So let's get this car wash and let's jump into a few things I don't like about my E92 BMW. Alright, so let's jump. No, that was really bad. Why are you so excited? Okay, so let's jump right into 5 things, I guess, or a few things really that I hate about my M3. And I'm going to use the word hate loosely because I don't really hate anything about this car. These are more, I guess, 5 things that really pertain to me, my specific M3, and I guess my daily driving things. And what I've noticed since I do daily this car, I have noticed a few things here that are inconvenient, and being in Ohio, it'll make sense when I jump into it. All right, so the first thing I hate on my M3 is the brake dust. It is awful. I mean, terrible. I actually, so I have the competition wheels, and those are on Pirelli P0s, so those are a little harder to clean. I have just a cheap set of winter wheels right now on some Michelin winter tires. They're just the discount tire in-house wheels. They gave me a really good deal on them, and they've done amazing in the winter. And really, I didn't get them to be flashy. I just got them to get me through the winter. And the brake dust on this car is pretty bad. I mean, I have to wash this car every few days, clean the brake dust off, and it is a performance vehicle. You do drive it, you know, it has the ability to be driven hard, so it does, you know, you brake more, you gas more. It's not like, it's one of those things where I knew going into it that it would have bad brake dust, but when I had my 335i, I thought that had bad brake dust, and then I jumped into this car, and it's a lot worse. And I didn't think it would be that much worse, because I drove the 335i pretty hard as well, so, you know, the brake dust is pretty bad. Another thing that I hate about, and again, like I said before, I'm going to use the word hate very loosely because I really don't hate anything about this car. There's just a few things here and there that kind of bother me from time to time. This is my daily driver, and I am in Ohio, and there are days where it is 2 degrees outside, and this is, again, my fault for not having another vehicle, for going one car for now, and driving this everywhere. But when you open the door very, very, like, slightly, this mirror, it's not framed since it's a coupe. This door mirror will actually come down just a hair. When it's like 2 degrees out, or like a couple weeks ago it was 2 with like a -30 wind chill, it's freezing out. It scares me because when it comes down, it makes the worst noise I've ever heard, and it's very, very, like, I question it because I'm like, well, is it going to come back up when I shut the door? And there have been a few times where it's gotten stuck, and I'm like, well, I know a regulator for this car, or for the window regulator, isn't cheap, and that worried me a little bit. So that's one thing I'll say is I wish they would have either framed this or had done something else, because every time you open it and it comes down just a little bit, when it's cold, you can hear you're cringing as it's coming up because it's like squeaking by, like it wants to go up but it can't. And that's one thing that I do hate. That I wish they would have done different. Another thing that I'm not a fan of is the center console where I rest my leg. I guess when I'm on the highway, when I'm cruising, gets very, very hot. I mean, it gets hot to the point where this whole section right here, if it'll focus, this whole section right here, I mean, like, it's really too hot for me to rest my leg. And I think I did some searching on the forum, and I did a little bit of investigating. I found out that when the rear AC, or when it's on heat back here, it actually goes, the ducts are right through here, so it gets extremely hot. So you really want to keep this in cool the whole time and let the fans blow out, so then it doesn't get built up in there. It passed by. That has temporarily fixed it, and I don't know if that's true or if that's more of a quick fix per se, but it has been just so, I mean, just so hot. And until I figured that out, it was almost like to the point where I didn't even want to drive this car because I thought something was wrong with my transmission, because my leg was legitimately like really hot. Like, it was so hot that I was concerned that something was broken. Another thing I hate in this car, and this pertains to my specific car, there is these 3 gauges here, and they took the cigarette lighter power adapter center console thing out right here and replaced them with these gauges. And other than the fact that I guess they tell you water, oil, and voltage, which doesn't even work, they're pretty much useless. I don't like them. They are so bright at night that you almost have to cover them with a tarp or with some cloth or something over it because of how bright they get. And they're just, I don't know, they're cheesy, they don't look good, they really make this car look extremely cheap. And these are all things that can be removed. So like I said, I'm saying these are things I don't like about my car. Your car might not have them. And I don't know, I think they're just not necessary. Another thing, and again, this is specific to my car, that I don't like about it is this shift knob right here. So I'll put it in gear, and we're in 1 right now, and it's gonna read 1. Sometimes it reads 3. Sometimes you put it in 2, and it reads 4. So it is very, very confusing, and for me, it's not a huge deal because I've basically, I don't even look at it when I drive. But for someone who'd be hopping in here or be driving this for the first time, or if they've never driven a manual, and they saw that, they'd be confused as to why they're taking off in 3, and really you're in 1. And it's a really good feeling shift knob, but it looks so goofy and out of place in this car. I'm contemplating changing it, but for me, it's just one of the things I was like, I don't really know why they made it. And you really don't, I guess when you're shifting, most guys that are going to drive this, they're not going to look down to see what gear they're in. You usually go off ear, or you kind of just get a feel for it the more you drive your car. So it's just kind of weird that they put that in there. Something else that I hate about this car, and again, this pertains actually very specific to me because I'm short. I'm like 5'7". So I have to sit a little bit further up to really press the clutch down. And when I do that, where my hand rests on the iDrive system, like, so here's where I am, and that's where my hand sits, when I want to change it. And I feel like it's very, like, my elbow is very, like, crunched in, and my wrist is very tight when I'm moving this. I wish they would have, and I know with the transmission being right here, with the shifter being here, it's hard to place it anywhere else, and I sit so far up, but it just feels weird, getting to this. So I'm not a huge fan of the placement of the iDrive knob, and that's, again, a personal thing for me for being so short. For an M car, and for a V8 that revs to 8,400 RPMs, it's rated to get right around, I think, 14 city, like 18, 20 highway, something along those lines. And I've been averaging 19 and a half, 19, sometimes 18 and a half, somewhere in that ballpark, usually, closer to high 18s, low 19s, which is by no means awful because this is a V8, rear-wheel drive V8 that's very, very exhilarating to drive, and oftentimes I find myself enjoying my drive. With me, it's not just driving from A to B, it's really enjoying my drive there. So I will say the gas mileage isn't terrible, but I find myself filling up a lot. And I don't know what size gallon gas tank this has got, but I felt like with my 335i, which it gets way better gas mileage, I didn't find myself needing to go to the gas station as much. With this, sometimes if I'm spiritedly driving, it tops out at 200 miles of range, and I think it's got a 15-gallon tank, maybe a 16-gallon tank or something. So, you know, 13 miles a gallon, 13, 14 miles a gallon sometimes is, regardless of what the readout is showing, is pretty bad. So overall, it's not terrible. And for being an M car, you know, right around 17 to 19 miles a gallon is actually rather good. But I do find myself filling up quite a bit. Another thing that kind of is annoying, and I don't know, I think it was stupid on BMW's part, is here's my key. My car's on right now, and you notice that it's still running. That's because this system, there was an option you could have picked, which came with, you didn't have to insert this in its little slot right here, and you could actually just drive the vehicle with keeping this. It's the keyless entry option. Now my spare key, which is the exact same key, it doesn't even work for. The key works. I can get in, I can click the buttons, unlock the doors, get in, push it in, start the car. But if I leave it in my pocket, it does not work. It's a very weird thing that they gave one key that addressed that issue and not the other key. And I think that should have been a standard feature with a vehicle like this. I don't know why they wouldn't have just included that and made it an option. That's one thing I'm not a fan of. And this is gonna be the last thing that like I said, I'm really being nitpicky. I actually love this car. I really don't hate anything. I guess other than the fact that I am choosing to daily drive this in Ohio, so there are gonna be consequences with the weather and, you know, stuff that's not in my control, except I wouldn't want to change it. I love driving this thing. It is so much fun that I've had, you know, I'll keep driving it as long as I can. But the one last thing I kind of want to touch on is, now this, I could be wrong and your car might come with this, but from what I remember, and my 335i was the same way. This is a 2013, which is the last year they made the V8 M3, and it doesn't come with a backup camera. Now mine's got a backup camera that some guy put in, and he put it too low. It's really cheap looking. It comes with parking sensors, which you don't need a backup camera, but on a car that was $70,000+ brand new and, you know, was top of the line 3 Series, it's very weird to me that they, and it's 2013. It's not like it's a 2005 or a 6. I mean, my 08 Lexus at one point had a backup camera. My 06 SUV that was nowhere near that nice had a backup camera. So it's like, it's odd to see that they chose to not put that and put parking sensors instead. And the backup camera that is put in mine, let me put a clip of it here. It just does not look good whatsoever. It is a very, like, bad looking backup camera in my opinion. It just looks weird. It just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. And I'm not a fan of the way how low it sits, and they put those lines to help guide you to park in your spot if you're reversing up, and they flicker a lot. The colors are awful. It definitely is angled way too low. So, you know, I'm not a fan of that. But again, these are things that I'm nitpicking. Overall, this car is fantastic, and I love this car. If I had to pick a few things that I guess I hate, those would be my main ones. I briefly mentioned this on my video about the 5 things I love about my E92 M3, but I'm sitting right around, at the time of making this, 250 something subscribers, and I love making content. When I started making YouTube videos, I actually had no goal in mind. I actually did it because as a senior in mechanical engineering at Wright State, I was on the Baja team. We were the only Baja team to have finished the car, made it to the competition, passed inspection, and compete in, I think, 10 years, and the 3rd time in 30 years. Our school doesn't really have a lot of funding. Most of that project, we actually went ahead and found sponsors ourselves. So the only reason I even made the videos was to capture kind of the work we were doing. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed making YouTube videos. And now, as I, you know, have gotten a little more experience, learned a little bit more, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed making cinematography and special cinematic edits with drones and different features and whatnot. And something I want to do to give back and help you make some amazing content is, as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a GoPro Hero 7 Black. It's the top of the line GoPro right now. It's actually what I'm filming the majority of this video on, and it is the perfect package. The best part about the GoPro, and you can see my full review on it as well, but you know, when you need to just pick one camera, put it in your pocket and go, that can do everything, it's hard to beat. It really does everything. The stabilization's very good. It can do a lot of things like hyperlapse, time warp, so many different, and it's so small, and it's just so easy and convenient. I have a lapel mic for making this video, but you don't need one. It sounds pretty good as it is. The Hero 7 was a huge jump audio-wise compared to the 6, and I want to just give one away, and here's how you can get one. So first, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's easy, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything. And then number 2, go follow me on Instagram, VASK614. And then from there, tag 3 friends on the giveaway post, and I will give you full details about this later. And as soon as I hit 1,000, within about a week or 2 after hitting 1,000, I'll close off the giveaway, and I'll let just anyone else that's interested in enter. And I'll be giving away a GoPro Hero 7 Black. And it's, like I said, completely free. There's no gimmicks, no strings attached. I've enjoyed making content so much, and I hope you enjoy watching it, and I just want to be able to give back and let somebody else that enjoys content or enjoys watching content get a chance at making content. It's not always, easy. It's a lot harder said than done. It's not as easy as just, sitting in front of a camera and speaking. You got to plan a lot of things out, and I want to give someone the option to become a content creator, make some amazing videos. And a lot of my beginning videos, I didn't have a fancy camera. I didn't have a nice camera. I did a lot of my cinematography, like my entire Tesla video, other than the drone shots, the entire thing was done on a GoPro Hero 6. And a Hero 7 partially. So really, I think it's a great buy. It's a very good, GoPro, and overall it can do everything you need to get started on making videos. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It was a quick video. I know last time I talked about 5 things I absolutely love about my E92 M3. So this time we talked about a few things that I hate, and overall, like I said, I enjoy this car, and I'm just kind of nitpicking, and those are things that if you had to, if I was a potential buyer that was considering daily driving this car or had a few other things, not just like a weekend car, there are a few more things to consider, and I just wanted to bring those few things up. But overall, this car's a blast. I would recommend this car to anyone. I mean, it's already become a classic to a lot of guys just because of, that V8, the rear-wheel drive, the manual transmission. They don't make them like this anymore, and I'm pretty sure BMW is not going to make them like this ever again. So if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, share it, turn the notification bell on, let some people know, show them this video if they have or are interested in an M3, or you're interested in an M3. And thank you for watching. I will see you next video.